What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon X and today's challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon X hardcore Nuzlocke using only inanimate objects. Now in the background, as you can see, we're going to play through the first part of the game because you can't actually get any Pokemon within the inanimate list that I have right on screen until you beat the first gym. So we're going to have to beat the first gym, and what classifies as an inanimate object, which I'm actually a little dumb and I didn't know, was that things that are not alive. So I firstly went to, okay, Floette and Roselia, those things are not alive. No, those things are flowers, those are plants, they're alive. And then I went to Execute, eggs are not alive, you know. It also obviously evolved into a palm tree, Executor, so that counts. You guys get it. So just things are not alive, that, you know, like swords, the keys, Pokemon, basically the simple stuff. And it's also going to be a hardcore Nuzlocke, so there's going to be multiple in one area, which we can't get all of them. The rest of the rules are on screen. And of course, the most important rule, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving a nickname in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down here, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get into the challenge video itself. Finally passed the first gym of the game. Super simple. You know, we got a random Frogadier. We chose Frogadier purposely because it's going to force Serena into having a Chestnut, and that's just going to be easy to deal with down the line. So from there, we're going to head into Route 6 and have the best inanimate Pokemon ever. Possibly one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and one of my favorite shiny Pokemon ever is going to be shiny Honedge. I don't know if I told the story before, but Honedge, I spent days and months shiny hunting back in the X and Y days. This is why I maxed out my time, 999 hours and 59 minutes inside of my X and Y cartridge back in the day because of Honedge. It's so hard to Masuda method it because it takes forever. But anyways, we catch ourselves our first shiny Pokemon, which is going to be shiny Honedge. And now we're going to head into Route 8, the coastal route, where we're able to find ourselves our next inanimate Pokemon, which is going to be a Drifloon. Argue with me what you want is a ghost Pokemon, so it's a spirit. It's a balloon. It's not alive, guys. Get over it. It's a balloon. So we're going to find ourselves a shiny Drifloon after a little bit. It's actually a common encounter in here, so we're able to find it pretty fast and capture it and add it to our team. Now we head into Glittering Cave, where our next Pokemon is going to take us a while to find. In here you can find two inanimate Pokemon, Solrock and Lunatone. They're both rocks, so I mean, needless to say, they're not alive. So we're going to find ourselves a Lunatone and a Solrock. Technically they're all alive because they're all Pokemon. And what does Solrock and Lunatone eat? What does Honedge eat? How do they eat? Wait, do they eat? I guess Honedge doesn't need to eat because it's ghost type, but what's Lunatone eat? Anyways, let's move on from that topic. We're actually gonna head into Route 9 after this. Route 9, there's a fun little event for us to do. We're gonna have to hunt out a Nosepass, but they're only able to be encountered in horde battles. So we're gonna have to horde encounter, and we found a lot of shiny Pokemon that are not Nosepass. So we're gonna have to wait until we find a shiny Nosepass, which doesn't take too long because horde encountering is super fast. You encounter 5 Pokemon at once. And we eventually found ourselves a shiny Nosepass in the middle of the rest of the Nosepass. Gold Nosepass for the win. And now all the shiny hunting is done for a little bit. We're going to finally face off against the first gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Grant next. Grant is going to be the rock type gym leader of the game. And we're going to start the battle off against him using my Honedge to just Sword Stance up in front of his Amora. Get Thunder Wave down, which is kind of annoying, but I get 3 Sword Stances up. That allows me to Shadow Sneak and just one-shot down the Amora super easily. He then sends out his Tyrant, which also gets one-shotted by my very special Honedge, and it just goes down. So Grant gets beaten very easily, and now we're going to play this little mini game where you throw the soccer ball into the goal, and you have chances to get some evolutionary stone. We're going to need this later on when Honedge evolves into a Doublade. So we're just going to play around with this. I'm really bad at this, as you can see, but eventually we do get a Dust Stone, and we can move on into the third gym of the game. We're going to face off against Karina next. Karina is going to be the fighting type gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Drifloon. I didn't know Drifloon evolved into Drifloon at like 26, so that's kind of wild to me. But in this battle, we have a Drifloon that has Stockpile, which is going to boost our defenses against Karina's Machoke. And then we're able to Omnis Wind, hoping for stat boosts. But I also have a very weak flying move that's super effective, which is going to be Gust. Technically, I think it's like 90 power against Machoke because it's super effective. And plus, same type attack bonus. So we're able to actually knock down the Machoke pretty easily. As she then sends out her Mienfoo, which has Fake Out and only uses Fake Out against my Drifloon as it goes down. So I think her team is useless because she sends out her Hawlucha next and it only uses Home Claws. and it goes down. So that's the end of Corinna. We end that battle pretty easily, and we're going to move on where our Hone Edge actually evolves into a Dew Blade. And from there, we're actually going to add an Eevee on top of it, just making its defenses incredibly powerful. And from there, we can face off against the 4th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Ramos next. Ramos is the grass type gym leader of the game. And we're going to start the battle off against him using my Drifloon to just gust into it. Okay, I don't know why I have Gust. I have Gust for the longest time. I will actually tell you there's a reason why I have Gust. Because it's actually a decent move, surprisingly. It's the only flying move I have, and it's a special attack, so I'm easily able to do a lot of damage. I'm able to beat down the Jump Bluff and the Weeping Bell, and eventually knock out the Go-Go, even though I think it has Rock Tomb. No? I think it has Rock Tomb. I swear this Go-Go has Rock Tomb or something. But eventually, Gust is actually going to cost me a Pokemon later down the line. Anyways, from there, we're going to have access into the desert, which is connected to the power plant, which allows us to evolve our Nosepass into a Probopass, which I kind of like Nosepass better as a Pokemon. It looks kind of cooler. But Probopass is on the team, and we could head into the next gym of the game. We're going to face off against Clement next. Clement's going to be the electric type gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Probopass. Now, if you guys don't know, Probopass has insanely large amount of special defense, as I'm able to just do some chip damage against the Magneton. I don't want to weaken down my Probopass against this Magneton, so I want to switch out into my Dew Blade. Dew Blade is able to go for a Sword Dance here, and then I could Shadow Sneak to knock out the Magneton. Now I have to cross my fingers against the Heliolisk that can knock him out, and he doesn't knock me out in this electric terrain. He goes for a Thunderbolt. I live just barely, and I'm able to Night Slash and knock out the Heliolisk. I don't want to risk a Shadow Sneak against the Amoga, so I go out to my Probopass, and I'm able to just knock him out with a Power Gem super easily, and we end up beating Clement. But just got very lucky. I don't know why I went for electric terrain. I thought I was going to keep going Thunderbolt. But we're able to beat down Clement and move on to the next gym of the game. We're able to face off against Valerie next. Valerie is going to be the fairy type gym leader. And we're going to start the battle off against her using my Dew Blade, which is so broken. I go for a Sword Stance multiple times against her. She's using Crunch, a move that's super effective against me. Is doing nothing, as you see. Gets 2 Sword Stances up, and I'm able to Shadow Sneak, knock out the Mawile super simply, knock out the Mr. Mime, and our final Pokemon will be a Sylveon, which I do get inflicted with Q-Tron because I'm unable to knock her out in one turn, but I am able to just break through it and eventually knock out the Sylveon, as she can't really do too much damage against me. She has Dazzling Gleam. It's not going to work out too well. Oh wait, I actually get scared. I didn't want to get crit. I do switch out my Dew Blade into a Probopass to eventually knock out the Sylveon, and we end up beating Valerie super easily. We also get Earth Power on our Probopass, which is nice. And then from there, we're going to head into the Lost Hotel, which in here I was so excited for because I was getting just bank up. And we're going to get a Litwick. There's multiple inanimate Pokemon. As you can see, there's Klefki's, there's Magneton, which is a magnet. And this Litwick that I wanted because it's a candle Pokemon and its shiny is super nice. Unfortunately, though, we find ourselves a shiny Magneton, which isn't the worst thing. I think I was too ungrateful at the time because I wanted a Chandelure, but we found a Magneton. We're going to catch it, obviously, because that's our first encounter. Add it to our team and then evolve it into a Magneton, which is going to be amazing. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great Pokemon. So we add the Magneton to our team, and then since we're going to have to round over our team anyways, we go out into the grass. We find ourselves a shiny Klefki in Route 15, and it's pretty notorious. We get the Sword Pokemon and also the Keys Pokemon, where people really didn't like them when they were introduced. So we're going to add that to our team, and now we're going to head into the next fight, which we're going to face off against a Rao, which is a pretty calm fight against Serena. Lucky enough, we're able to knock her down with my Gust boosted Drifloon, and then from there, we're going to face off against the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Olympia next. Olympia is going to be the Psychic type gym leader, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Magnezone, surprisingly. Magnezone's going for a Thunderbolt against her Zigglyph, which is going to two-shot it, surprisingly. And then our next Pokemon will be a Meowstic, which I want to double out into my Drifloon to go for a Shadow Ball. And my Shadow Ball seems like it's doing a little less than her Shadow Ball. So I decided to switch back into my Magnezone to Thunderbolt and knock out her Meowstic. And then our next Pokemon will be a Slowking, which gets obliterated by my Magnezone and then just goes down in one shot. And we end up beating Olympia super easily. Not losing a single Pokemon, not even breaking a sweat. From there, we have access into the Team Flare hideout, which we shouldn't have. But you know what? We have access into the Team Flare hideout. Go into the second hideout and then face off against Xerneas. Capture Xerneas. I just completely forgot there's Xerneas in this game, I'm not going to lie, because we never use them. But we capture Xerneas and then face off against Lysander in this monstrous battle, which most often kills my Deathless runs. But we're going to start the battle off against him using my Aegislash, which I decided to evolve my Dew Blade to, which I think was the best play here because I got +3 against the Mienshao. and then I'm able to Shadow Sneak one shot down the Mienshao, which is super nice. Down goes it. He then sends out his Pyro, which I'm very concerned that I know I could live a Fire Blast, but if it gets a crit or a burn, it might be the end of this run. So I have to be very careful as it hits me with a Fire Blast. I live it with 52 HP. I go for an Iron Head and it will knock out the Pyro, which is amazing. He then sends out his Honchkrow, which I go for a King Shield against him. I block out his Night Slash. Then I am able to risk it. I know Honchkrow doesn't have the best defenses. I go for a Shadow Sneak. It's going to one-shot him down. And especially since I'm a few levels ahead of him, I was pretty much guaranteed to knock him out. He then sends out his Gyarados. I was hoping he goes for a Crunch. He goes for an Earthquake, which actually does less damage, I believe, so I'm not too sure why he did that. He went for an Earthquake, so I can't actually stay in. I thought he was going to lower his attack stat with Crunch, so I decided to go out into my Lunatone thinking I could avoid the Earthquake, but he has Mold Breaker, so now my Lunatone's at 1 HP, and I panic, and I click Moonblast, and Moonblast does not come close to knock out the Gyarados as my Lunatone goes down, and that's the first death of the game. And it's so bad because I was like, oh, this was winnable. So I decided to go out into my Drifloon, which doesn't do too much damage. So I gotta go out into my Klefki, and Klefki actually destroyed the Gyarados, which is amazing. It actually knocks him out in one shot. We're able to beat Lysander, but unfortunately, we had that dreaded 1 in the death counter now because Lunatone had to go down. We're gonna replace the Lunatone by going into Reflection Cave and getting a new inanimate Pokemon, which is gonna be a Chingling. Chingling is a bell, so... Now, just to clarify, if you guys don't know what Chingling is, Chingling and its evolution Chimecho are both bells, so pretty inanimate to me. We're gonna capture it and never use it. I'm not gonna lie, it's just to fill out my team so people don't bombard me with messages why do I have an empty team. It's a full team now. I hope you guys are happy. But we're gonna face off against Wolfric next. Wolfric is gonna be the 8th gym leader in the game. And we're going to start the battle off against him with my Mag Zone, and that's the end of the battle basically. So we're able to Flash Cannon into his Abomasnow to knock him out in one shot. He then goes out to his Avalok, which, you guessed it, he gets one-shotted. He then goes out into his Cryogonal. You don't guess it, Cryogonal does not get one-shotted because it has pretty good special defense. But it's not going to knock out anytime my Mag Zone. So we're able to knock out the Cryogonal and we get the 8th gym badge of the game. Moving on up, we're going to move through a Victory Road, avoid a lot of the trainers because we need to get through the end. And then we can finally start training up our Pokemon. Eventually we get through Victory Road and we can face off against the Elite Four next after doing some training, not a lot. And then we can face off against the first Elite Four member of the game. We're going to face off against Malva first. Malva is going to be the fire type Elite Four member of the game. And was looking through my team, I kind of panicked because most of my team are very weak to fire type. So we're going to start the battle off against her using my Probopass, which luckily is Park Rock type. And I'm able to Power Gem into her and knock her out in one shot. Next up, she's going to switch out to her Torkoal, which also gets one-shotted because I have a Rock Incense on. I'm able to also Power Gem and knock out her Talonflame. And her final Pokemon will be a Chandelure, which I don't like. She goes for a Confuse Ray, and I hit myself in Confusion. She then goes for a Confide, lowers my special attack, but I'm able to break through all of that and Power Gem and do a lot of damage to her. I survive a Flamethrower, and I snap out of Confusion, luckily, and I'm able to knock out the Chandelure. And that could have got really dicey if my Probopass went down, but luckily it didn't. Malva goes down pretty easily, and next up we face off against Wingstrom next. Wingstrom's going to be the Steel type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Drifloon to Ominous Wind. I'm trying to get the boost up. Don't blame me, guys. I'm trying to cheese down the battle. And eventually I am able to just knock out the Klefki. Get no boost though. His next Pokemon is going to be a Probopass, which I do get some chip damage just for my own Probopass as I was switched out into him. Breakdown is sturdy as I'm able to Earth Power knock him out as he's not able to knock me out. And next up will be his Aegislash, which is pretty powerful. But I know he's going for a Sacred Sword, so I'm going to double out into my own Aegislash. I go for a King Shield to lower his attack stat, and then Swords Dance up, assuming he's going for a King Shield. I do not knock him out with a Shadow Sneak, surprisingly, but he does not knock me out with a Shadow Claw, even though I'm in Sword mode, and I could just go for a Shadow Sneak as he goes for a full Restore, knock out his Aegislash, and then his next Pokemon, his final Pokemon, will be a Scizor, which should have been a Mega Scizor, but I'm going to go for a King Shield, block out his Night Slash. I go for an Iron Head, I outspeed him somehow, and I'm able to flinch him, so we don't even know if Night Slash would knock me out, unless he got a crit. Actually, that was a horrible play. I just realized that was such a bad play. But Shadow Sneak will knock out the Scizor, and we're able to beat down Wingstrom, and don't think about the horrible bad play right there. From there, we're going to face off against Drasna next. Drasna is going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Magnet Zone, just to Flash Cannon into the Dragonite to knock her out pretty easily. We don't survive against the Northern though, so we're just going to avoid that. Switch out into my Drifloon to eventually knock him out with a Shadow Ball. Super nice. Her next Pokemon will be an Altario. I don't want to risk my Drifloon as I go out into my Probopass, which gets put to sleep, which is kind of annoying, but I'm able to Power Gem it down, and it's going to heal up, Power Gem, heal up, Power Gem. It gets very annoying, but eventually we're able to knock down the Altario, and here comes the biggest dunce move I've ever done. So I'm just looking down at my phone for 1 second. I click Earth Power because I assume Druddigon's going to go for a Dragon Tail or something. It's not going to do a lot of damage. I go for an Earth Power. I was waiting for the Dragon Tail. It goes for a Revenge, and I was like, maybe I'll survive it. 4 times a week, I didn't survive it at all. So Probopass went down because I was checking my phone. That's a lesson, everyone. Do not check your phone when you're in a Pokemon battle. But I go out into my Klefki. Klefki will clean up just like it's always done. Clean up with the Gyarados on Lysander's team and clean up against Drasna. Unfortunately, we lost another Pokemon, which is super sad. But from there, we're going to face off against Sealberg next. Sealberg's going to be the Water type Elite Four member of the game, and we'll start the battle off against him using my Magnezone. Magnezone is going to Thunderbolt into his Clawitzer to knock him out in one shot. He then goes out to his Gyarados, which, forgot he has Earthquake, and also outspeeds me. I live it, at least. I don't have Sturdy, but I live it. Thunderbolt will knock out the Gyarados for me, and at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a little more reserved. Switch out my Magnezone against the Barbarico, even though I'm pretty sure I would have knocked him out in one shot. I go out into my Drifloon and finally have Thunderbolt against him just to knock him out. And then his final Pokemon will be a Starmie, which I'm able to Shadow Ball and knock him out in 2 shots. Super simple, as we're able to beat down a Starmie and beat down Sealberg and the Elite Four itself. Now we face off against the champion of the game, and I refrain myself from just spamming Aegislash and sweeping through it. So we're going to start the battle off against Diantha without Aegislash sweeping. So we're going to start the battle off using my Drifloon against her Hawlucha. Hawlucha's going to go for a sword since I'm able to Thunderbolt into him, and it's going to full restore, Thunderbolt, and then eventually I take a Poison Jab, which does no damage to me at all. So I don't know what she was doing. I'm able to knock down Hawlucha and then switch out into my Magnezone against her Tyrantrum. Take a Head Smash and then Flash Cannon to knock him out in one shot. Her next Pokemon will be a Gojo, which is kind of annoying. I go out into my Drifloon to do some chip damage. It does lower his special defense. Her 2 Dragon Pulses will do a lot of damage. I decided to go out into my Klefki next, which will actually knock out the Gojo with a Play Rough, surprisingly. Monster power over there. Her Auroras comes out next. I decided to go out to my Magnezone to just take the hit. Flash Cannon to knock her out in one shot, and then her next Pokemon will be a Gourgeist, which I decided to go and stay in and knock out the Gourgeist, which, I mean, nothing wrong there. I'm able to knock out the Gourgeist. Her next Pokemon will be a Gardevoir, which I did not know had so much power. It megas up and goes for a Shadow Ball, which knocks out my Magnezone, which is so unfortunate. Magnezone goes down at the end. I had to switch out to my Aegislash and then recuperate the fight as my Aegislash is able to beat down the Gardevoir, and we beat the challenge. But there's just so many bad deaths that so much avoidable deaths. Like Lunatone one, I could have just saved Lunatone. I could have gone into like someone else, possibly my Drifloon. If I taught Drifloon Thunderbolt back then, possibly it was alive now. But it was such a poorly played run at certain times. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm glad I could beat the challenge. It was fun to do, obviously. I just want a deathless run so badly. But anyways, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It means a lot to me you guys make it this far. If you guys can, please leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel. And anyways, my name has been Alpha. Hope you all had a great day. And this video was pretty fun to make. Thanks for watching.